Good morning friends. Today we will be talking about a workshop on shoulder, rotator cuff and bankart repair, and we'll be using Osteocare anchors and Osteocare instrumentation for this particular workshop. Now we will be starting with anchors, which are metallic anchors, PEEK anchors and the lateral row anchors, and then I'll be also be demonstrating to you the instrumentation that we use for these particular repairs. Now we know that rotator cuff repairs here are repair of the predominantly repair on the supraspinatus tendon and the subscapularis tendon. So now by definition, whenever we are using a subscapularis repair, it is always better to use a metal anchor because it is usually difficult to find a pilot hole when you are doing a subscap repair. So my preference in a subscap repair is usually a metal anchor. For supraspinatus tendon, you can use either a metallic anchor or a PEEK anchor as advised. Now, what we are showing here are different type of anchors which are available. Now, this anchor is a OsteoCuff anchor, and this is an anchor with needles. So, this is a typical anchor that we use for a mini open repair. So, if you are doing a mini open repair, you can use this anchor. This is a 5 mm anchor. And you should note that the threads are passing not through the shaft but outside the shaft. So if you are using this anchor in an arthroscopic repair, it becomes a little difficult because these threads which are outside the shaft may entangle. I'll just show you how we insert this anchor. So if you want to insert this anchor, we can just put it like this, and then we can just insert it like this, and then we can remove these anchors like this, and then we can take it out like this. And now if you want to take out the threads need to be taken out one by one because there is a needle there and it will not come all at once. So one thread or one needle at a time should be taken out. So this is a very good in a mini open kind of a repair, and this is also a very good anchor if you are doing open repairs like an MCL repair, if you are doing a coracoacromial ligament repair or any other open repair or a LCL repair on the fibula. Also this is a very good anchor because then you just have to use these threads through the cuff tissue like this, and then you can just tie it one by one. So all of these four anchors, these are four suture limbs here. So these are the four suture limbs that we have, and these are the four suture limbs. They can be passed sequentially one by one and they can be repaired nicely. So this is how we insert a needle anchor, and this needle anchor is specifically for a mini open repair. I would not recommend using this anchor in an arthroscopic technique, as I told you, because the threads are passing outside the shaft and they may entangle when you are doing a arthroscopic repair. Now the second anchor that I use is a 5 mm metallic anchor without needles. Now this is the standard anchor that I use in most of my rotator cuff repairs, and this is an anchor of choice when I am doing a subscapularis repair because I don't have to put a pilot hole and I don't have to chase for the pilot hole because sometimes the visualization in subscapularis is difficult, and it is very handy to use in a arthroscopic setup. So when we are using this particular anchor, what we need to do is the same. We want to make a little tap with the hammer, and then we can insert it nicely, and it goes very well. Now you can see there are two lines here, and you need to go up to the first line, and then you have one line which is sharp and one line which is a dotted line, and you have to go to the first line for the adequate insertion, and then you need to remove these threads like this nicely, and then you just have to pull it out and all your threads are out. So this is how and this is a very good anchor for arthroscopic repair because as I told you that the threads are passing through the shaft of the anchor. So it becomes a very handy anchor for use, and it is arthroscopically very, very suitable. Now, when you want to pass sutures through the cuff tissue, so let's suppose this is a cuff tissue and you need to pass the sutures, you have two options. This is an antegrade suture passer, which is an OC suture passer, and it comes with a nitinol needle which can be removed like this, and this can be easily loaded. This needle can be easily loaded like this, and you need to feed it up like this. So once you feed this needle with this thread, now this is a grasper. Usually you use this with a cannula, and you can use it without the cannula as well. And when you pass it like this, and when you pass the needle, this is a self-retrieving grasper. So whenever you pass the thread, it will come out by itself. And when you pass it the second time, it will come out easily, and you can just pull it out to separate it. So you have passed this first suture in this fashion. Now I'll just be showing you what are the different types of sutures we can place, and what are the different kind of sutures we can put. The most ideal repair is a double row repair, and I'll show you how we do a double row repair. So if you want to do a double row repair, this anchor has to be passed, all the four limbs, all the four threads of the sutures should be passed. So we are passing the four sutures one by one here, and this is how we pass the suture. We'll just pull it out like this. So this is the first and this is the second anchor, and similarly we can pass all the four sutures in this fashion. And this is the third one, you can pass it like this. Okay, so all three are passed. Now if you are doing a single row repair, you can tie it like this, one mattress and one simple, and this becomes a Mason Allen configuration. But if you want to do a double row repair, it is imperative to pass all the four sutures inside. Now we have also developed a technique in which we do a double row repair with using this anchor only, and we have a separate video, and I will recommend all of you to see that particular video on the YouTube using the OsteoCuff anchor and OsteoPEEK anchors, both knotted simple anchors, and how we can use them in a double row fashion. So they are simple anchors, and what we do there is we use the medial row in a mattress fashion, and we use the lateral row in a simple fashion. So there are all four anchors, or all three anchors are regular anchors, but the repair is a footprint repair, and you can achieve a very good footprint repair without using a lateral row anchor. And this is useful because in some cases, because most of the lateral row anchors are costly anchors, and you save on the economics if you are using this particular technique while doing a double row repair or a footprint repair. Now these are the two anchors that we have already inserted, and then we can tie the knots. I usually use a SMC knot, and SMC knot, I'll just show you how you tie a SMC knot. So SMC knot, this is a small limb and this is a larger limb, and we make the loop on the small limb, and we make a full complete loop like this, and then we make a half loop like this. Okay, so one full loop and one half loop, and then this remnant of thread, the last end of the thread is passed here in this loop like this. Okay, and then we'll just tie it like this, and we make a small knot here. At this point you should not pull this suture, because if you pull this suture, the longer one, the knot will lock. Now there is a very nice knot pusher which comes in with this system, which has a very blunt edges, because knot pusher, whenever you are using, you should use with a blunt edges. If it is a sharp knot pusher, you may cut these threads. One thing I want to tell you, that this particular thread that we are using is a number 2 UHMWPE, that is a ultra high molecular weight polyethylene suture. It's a very strong suture, and it has got a very good pull out strength, and I have not broken this suture in my practice, using it in number of cases of ligament reconstructions as well as shoulder reconstructions. So now at this point we want to pull this suture like this, and once we pull this suture, this is a sliding knot, so it will be pulled up like this, and at this point I would like my knot pusher to actually compress the thread against the tough cuff tissue like this, and this will be the point, this will be the first point when I'll pull the longer thread, and that will lock the knot. So this is a sliding knot, sliding SMC knot, that is a Seoul Medical Center knot, and this is a sliding locking knot. So in this way we are tying the first knot. After that we need to tie 3 half hitches, and usually I alternate the post, or you can just reverse the direction to make a good tie. So these are the 3 half hitches that I have tied, and this makes a very solid repair. And this repair is in the mattress fashion because we have put both the threads, we have passed both the threads through the rotator cuff tissue. Now we'll be tying the other one. Those of you who have missed the technique of knot tying, we are focusing it again. So SMC knot, this is a smaller thread, this is a longer thread. We make it over the loop is made over our index finger. One full loop we will make like this, and then there will be one half loop. So one full loop which will be passing through both of the threads, and one half loop which will be passing through one of the threads, and then we will be passing this loop through the first loop here, okay, and then we'll be just making a loop here. Mind you, again, you don't have to pull this knot, because if you will pull this suture, the knot will get locked into its position, and then we can just slide the knot into the position where it is desired. Here I want to emphasize the importance of past pointing, because here, as I told you, we put it like this and then we pull it like this to lock it. So this thread, the longer thread, whenever you pull it, it will lock the suture in this particular direction, and whenever it is locked, you need to push the knot pusher on the other side, and this is called as the past pointing. And then we can just use it, as I told you, 3 half hitches, alternate, and then the anchor is tied perfectly. So the medial row anchor is now tied perfectly into its position. Now I would like to show you another anchor, and this is an anchor. This is an OsteoPEEK anchor. This is a wonderful anchor. This is a 5.5 diameter anchor, and this anchor we can use in so we want to make a pilot hole here for insertion of this anchor, and there is a inserter that will be coming up along with the system, and what you can do is you can insert this anchor right here, and this is a very nice anchor with a very strong pull out strength, and the other advantage is you cannot see it on the X-ray. So it is a very good anchor. I personally like this anchor more than the metal anchor as far as the pull out strength is concerned, because it will give you a cancellous as well as cortical purchase. Again, it has got 2 lines, and we need to insert it only up to the first line. You don't have to insert it up to the second line. Occasionally, if there is a soft tissue, you can insert it up to the second line, and the other black line, which is vertical, will give you an indication that where the thread is passing. So this vertical line, if you can see here, will give you an indication about where the threads are passing. So now this is the PEEK anchor, 5.5 mm, and it is a cortico-cancellous fixation anchor, and it will also fix not only in the cancellous part of the greater tuberosity, but it will also fix in the cortical part. So the pull out strength is greater than a metallic anchor. Now in the last anchor we have used this anti-grid suture passer with the needle. So here the needle is a disposable thing and we are using this specifically device in an anti-grid fashion. This is an easy to use device and more user friendly, but occasionally there is some cost added to it. So if you want to avoid that, you can use a device which is called as a clever hook. So this is a clever hook device, and clever hook device is a device which can be passed in this fashion, and it's a retrograde device, and you can pass it through the rotator cuff tendon like this, and then you can hold the thread from here. And whenever you are using a retrograde suture passing device, you can use two threads in one pass. So here we have passed two threads through one pass like this, okay, and then we can use another two passages for passing the two anchors one by one. So this we have first thread like this, and then we can use the fourth limb like this, okay. So here we have inserted all the four limbs again. Now we only passed 4 passes. So as I told you, if you are using a retrograde suture passing device like a clever hook, or this is a very good device which comes in this set, which is the bird beak. So the clever hook comes in the right and left direction, and this is the bird beak device. This is also a very good device, and the bird beak suture device comes in different angles. It comes in 45 degrees, 30 degrees and 15 degrees, and this is also a very nice retrograde suture passing devices. And you can use different portals to use these bird beaks and clever hooks, and there is a different video on shoulder portals and what portals you can use for using all these retrograde suture passers. So I will recommend all of you to see those shoulder portal videos, because it will be very worthwhile to use these in your clinical practice. Now again we will be tying all these 4 anchors, 4 strands again in the same fashion. So again this is a smaller limb, we will be passing through a SMC knot, and we'll be passing a sliding locking knot in this fashion like this, and then we will be using our knot pusher to make a tight knot here. And here, as I told you, past pointing is very important, and then followed by 3 half hitches, okay. So 3 half hitches here will make your repair stronger. And this is the last knot that we'll want to try here. Again, a larger and a smaller SMC knot with a 1 full turn and 1 half turn. Like this. And when you pull this, you can use a knot pusher also, but when you pull this thread like this threads automatically with a knot pusher. You can push the knot, and then you can do a past pointing to actually lock the thread. And as I told you, 3 alternating half hitches will make your repair perfect. Okay, so now you have 4 sutures which are tied, 4 knots which are tied. This is the first knot, this is the second knot that you have tied, this is the third knot that you have tied, and this is the 4th knot that you have tied. Now you have 4 knots. Now I'll be showing to you another anchor, which is a lateral row anchor. This is a Osteocare lateral row anchor, and if you want to use this anchor, you can use up to 4 limbs through this anchor. So this anchor has got 2 pieces, so that is the eyelet and the anchor, and you need to feed up to 4 suture limbs through this eyelet in the same direction. So I'll be feeding one by one. There is an inserter which comes which makes your life easier when you are doing it in actual arthroscopy. So 1, 2, the 1, the 2, and occasionally they are not entanglement issues, so you need to be very careful that they are not entangling into the knot. And this is the third one that we will load it, and this is the fourth one that we will load. Okay, and it is not compulsory for you to load all the 4 anchors, 4 strands of sutures, but you can use 2, 3, 4, whatever. But usually it takes up to 4 sutures, and if you want to use a tape, you can also incorporate tape into this repair. And now you need to pull these strands through that, and you want to make a pilot hole here. So here we can see that we have made a pilot hole right here, and we have passed all the 4 threads through this loop, and then we will pass the pilot hole. We can have some creep into the threads, and then we need to push the anchor in this direction, and then we will be using our hammer to put this. We'll be using our hammer to put it into its own place. So here we have seen that we have pushed the anchor into its own place. At this point, you can do a little tensioning of all the threads like this, and then you can tie these threads to the respective slots that are given. So you can use these slots to fix these threads. So there are 2 slots up and 2 slots down, and it's not compulsory, but it is good if you can fix this with the slot. And once you have done this and you have inserted it completely, then what you can do is you can hold it like this, and then you can insert your anchor like this. You can see that the anchor is going up very nicely, and once this anchor goes inside, it is a very strong lateral row fixation. So you can see that the whole anchor has gone inside, and these are the 4 threads which are remaining. Now the beauty of this anchor is that there is a thread which is here. You can see this thread, and this thread is an additional mode of fixation to you. So what you need to do is you need to take out this rubber band from here. So once you take out this rubber band, the beauty of this anchor is that when you take this out, you have this thread which acts as an extra thread. So if you want to tie any dog ears, you can tie nicely with these threads. So if you think that there is a dog ear here, you can again use this suture over your antegrade suture passer in this fashion, and pass the suture like this, and then you can tie it in this fashion. So this is a very useful suture. So it's an extra suture that you get with this particular lateral row Osteocare anchor, and this can be used for fixation of any kinds of a dog ear that you may encounter. So that becomes an extra advantage of this anchor. Now this is a V-shaped suture and a suture tape cutter. So this is a very useful instrument, because when we have put this anchor inside and there are a lot of threads inside, you need to cut these threads, and these are, as I told you, number 2 UHMWPE suture material. It is a very strong suture material. It is about 4 times stronger than the Ethibond, and when you do like this, you can do cutting. It cuts very smoothly, and the beauty of this device, this V-shaped device, is you can cut multiple sutures. So if you want to cut these 2 sutures together, you can do it as well. So you can just take these 2 sutures inside like this, Nowadays we are using a lot of tape material also for these kind of repair, and this V-shaped knot cutter is very good because it can cut. So you can see that we have cut two suture threads together. So this is a very sharp suture cutter, and it cuts suture tape also with the equal efficacy. So here we have seen that we have done a good knotless repair, and if you want to use a second knotless anchor, you can use these threads for the second knotless anchor as well. And if you want to cut these limbs, you can use this V-shaped knot cutter nicely to cut the limb as well. So it makes the work very easy. Now I'll just like to demonstrate you some other instruments in this set. So this is a regular grasper. It's a atraumatic grasper, and you can use this grasper to pull the rotator cuff tissue, see the mobility, and do some kind of a grasping work. A small loose body can also be grabbed with this. So it's a multi-purpose grasper, and it is very good to grab the rotator cuff tissue as well and to pull the thread as well. This is a suture retriever. These all material is made up in 316 stainless steel. It's a very stout material, and it has got a very good longevity. I've been using these instruments for years now. So now this is a suture retriever instrument, and this suture retriever instrument is very good instrument if you want to pull the threads like this. The other instrument you can use here is a suture hook, but suture retriever works well, and you can grab multiple sutures like this, and it becomes very handy when you are using it for a arthroscopic repair. Now these are the right and the left clever hooks. As I told you, these are very useful and handy instruments whenever you are doing an arthroscopic repair in a retrograde fashion. The bird beak is also a very wonderful instrument, again retrograde instrument. Where you can make your passes through the rotator cuff, and you can use it. I personally use a lot of modified Nivasier portal, and I'll recommend all of you to see our video on the portals in shoulder arthroscopy to actually understand what modified Nivasier portal is. I also use a lot of high posteromedial portal, and this is a very good portal for passing your infraspinatus sutures. And very occasionally I use a subclavian portal also for my anterior suture passage using the retrograde devices. So now this is a Sixter device. This is similar to the clever hook, but the angle is 90 degree more than that. So this is a very good device when you are using a bankart repair. And for this set, you have got two anchors that you can use in a bankart. This is a 3.5 millimeter metal anchor, which you can use in bankart. My personal preference in bankart repair is to use a small peak anchor, because I personally avoid using a metal anchor, but the principle is same, and usually it is a single loaded anchor whenever you are using or for a bankart repair. The other important instruments in this system is a Wissinger rod. This is a pointed rod on both the sides, and this is a very good. This is also called as a switching stick. And then you have cannula introducers of different diameters, 6 millimeters and 8 millimeters. So whatever size cannula that you are using, whatever company, it fits into get that nicely, and makes your portal easy. Now this is a ring curette. Now I personally use the ring curette both for my rotator cuff repairs as well as for my bankart repair, and it is very good to prepare your tuberosity. So it can be used because you can see where your tuberosity is, and you can prepare it nicely. And it is a very versatile instrument when you are using. You can use it in the anterior margin of the bankart, and you can use it on tuberosity. And it works well because whenever you are using a ring curette, it increases the vascularity and it increases the healing potential. This is the crochet hook I was talking about, and again when you are using any kind of a crochet hook, this is a very good instrument when you are using a suture management, and you can pull out the sutures by using this crochet hook nicely in this fashion, and it helps a lot whenever the suture management is concerned. In arthroscopic rotator cuff repair, many times you can have suture entanglement, so crochet hook is useful in those circumstances. Now we have rasps and elevators. So these are two elevators which come into this set. This is a 10 degree and this is a 20 degree elevators, and these are very good when we are preparing the bankart and whenever you are using ELPSA repair. So this makes a very good angle, and if you are not struggling with an angle, you have different angles so that you don't struggle. So 10 degrees and 20 degrees elevators, and then you have up and down rasp to prepare the bony bed. So these rasps can be used both for the bankard, and occasionally you can use them for the rotator cuff. You want to prepare the rotator cuff bed, you can use these rasps in a very nice way. This is a regular curette. You can use it again to prepare your, and this is a regular shoulder probe that we use. And the good part about this probe is it is marked, so you can actually see that what is the dimension of your bone loss and everything. So it is 5 millimeters, 10 millimeters, 15 millimeters. So it's a marked thing. So friends, in a nutshell, these all instruments are basically a self-sufficient instruments which can help you to manage your arthroscopic shoulder surgeries or a mini open shoulder surgeries in a self-sufficient way, in an economical way, and in a very quality conscious way. So I have been using this instrumentation for the last 5 years, and it has got very good results, at least in my hands. The anchors have got a very good pull out, specifically the PEEK anchor has got a very good pull out whenever the rotator cuff tissue is concerned. And again, I would like to specify my preference. I like to use a 5 millimeter metallic titanium anchor for my subscapularis repair. I use a PEEK anchor 5.5 millimeters for my supraspinatus and infraspinatus repair on the greater tuberosity. And I use double row in both the ways. I use a double row with a standard 5.5 mm PEEK anchor for the medial and the lateral row, which has been described in our videos that I have described. And I am using also the lateral row knotless anchor, which I have just demonstrated today in this technique. And both of them have got good results. Now there are subtle things. You can do a single row repair also, and if you want to do a single row repair, you can like to do a microfracture on the leg. So if you are using a single row repair, you can put a small microfracture like this on the exposed portion of the greater tuberosity, and this is called as a crimson duvet, which is the concept of Steve Snyder. So friends, if you have any more questions regarding the use of these particular anchors, I'll be more than happy to help you and assist you. You can write them on the comment box. If you have any other queries, you can also contact us personally. Thanks a lot for your patient hearing. Thank you.